Join me on the sofa with Esther this Friday, the 8th of March, for an International Women's Day special as we join in the celebration of women all over the world. I will be talking to legend Shirley Jones, the surviving member of the Jones Girls, about her latest album, Reflections in Loving Memory, which is dedicated to the memory of her sisters Valorie and Brenda.
This entire project is dedicated to my two beautiful sisters, Brenda and Valorie Jones, and of course Mom, who trained us. She took those voices and taught us how to love and harmonize together. Yes. I tell you, it was an opportunity and an experience that I will never forget, working with my sisters. And those beautiful voices where we created some of the best harmonies the world has ever seen. The good times, the fun days.
Okay. Well, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to On the Sofa with Esther. And I feel like having my bells and my maracas for this. Welcome Shirley Jones to the platform. Shirley Jones of the Jones Girls. I would say the last lady standing, and she's really doing a fabulous job in keeping the legacy alive. And this conversation is going to be about an album that's coming out on the 16th of February called Reflections in Loving Memory. And this is what she's dedicated to her two sisters. So welcome, Shirley.
Thank you, Esther. Glad to be here.
Yeah, you're looking really, really great. It's funny. It's almost like you guys don't age.
Black don't crack, as they say.
Maturing like fine wine, Shirley.
Right. Thank you.
Oh, bless you. But Shirley, I usually like to ask my guests, and I have to ask in a nutshell, in a peanut shell, or a coconut shell, who is Shirley Jones?
Shirley Jones is a woman of love, peace. I'm a mother, a grandmother, an auntie, and I am a true believer in God and his blessings and sharing those blessings that I have had bestowed upon me with the world. I'm a person that absolutely enjoys using this gift that God gave me to inspire, uplift other people.
Mm-hmm. And that gift, Shirley, is your voice, but also it's more than your voice because your voice is a messenger. You're a messenger and you sing into lives. And I remember interviewing you some years ago, I think it was just around COVID, and you had this passion for people to really reach out and touch people on a really deep level. I always remember that conversation. And so this conversation is going to be reminiscent of that because your album is a tribute and an ode to your two sisters.
Yes, it is. Because, when Brenda and when Val passed, Brenda and I were out there trying, and then she became ill. And when she was tragically, unexpectedly killed in 2017, I was just so empty. I was so alone. And I decided right then, I said, oh man, I think I'm going to have to do something as therapy for me, because I almost lost it, and I have to do something for Brenda and Valorie. And it was my way, because I didn't feel that Brenda, was transitioning. And that, after being hit by 3 cars, I just felt that she did not transition peacefully. And I said, I have to do something. And that's when I started working on this album. And then I remembered a song that Brenda had told Ralph T over there at Expansion Records. She had sent him this previously unreleased song of the Jones Girls that never made any album, but it was in our so-called can of music. And I said, I want to, on this tribute album, because it's a tribute and it happens to coincide with the 45 years of our first album, the Gray album, you all call it over there, on Philly International, I decided that's going to be the next single. It's called Baby Don't Go Yet. Classic Jones Girls, Gamble Huff collaboration.
Wow. It's interesting because when you were talking, I still felt that, I mean, you're not in the emotion of it, but I still felt the emotion to it's almost like you just wanted to do this.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was devastating. Absolutely, for our family. And even now, when I think about it, I tear up because what a way to die, And that was my sister being torn apart like that by cars, and we still don't know why she was in the streets. We those things. I did go last year. I was able to go to that corner where it happened, that street. And that was devastating too, because it was a huge road. So we just don't know. Yeah.
But the main thing is now that in a sense you're bringing peace to the energy of that, and you're holding space for her and Valorie, and this album is a tribute album to them. So in the sense, there's so much giving back and gifting back into who they were and who they're being remembered for as well.
Yes.
And so the album has 10 tracks on it. Is that correct?
Yes.
Yeah. And which one, I mean, you spoke about Baby Don't Go, but which other track on that? I mean, they're all fabulous tracks, I am sure. But each track obviously has its own different sentiments.
Yes. Yes. In fact, on one track that I co-wrote with Everest over there in the UK, and we did the song. And it's funny because I'll tell you this story. My son's doing a step out, a rap on that song. And then the title of the album, Relections, Valerie's son and I wrote together. So Jones' legacy continues with both of them being on this album as well. And Everest, he's a popular soul singer over there in the UK, and he happened to open for the Jones Girls 40-some years ago when we were at the Dominion Theater. And wow. Here we co-wrote this song together that's on the album. Yeah, so every song has a story pertaining to something about the Jones Girls and not just Shirley Jones.
Wow, and it just seems like it is a legacy album. I mean, you were working with somebody that that you worked with 47 years ago. You were able to rekindle something to bring this album together. So this is a very, very special album. And in terms of, I mean, we talked about the sentiments of each individual track, and what is it you want people, your audience, your fans, to take away from this, other than it being that tribute to your sisters? What else do you feel they're going to capture, Shirley?
I think they're going to capture the intense, hard work that Brenda and Valorie and I put into absolutely every song that we sang on, be it singing background for somebody else or our own. I hope they see the beauty in this project and the hard work that went into this project as a little sampling of how Brenda, Valorie, and I treated the music and the fact that you really have to work hard at your craft always going for perfection, and that perfection being making sure the music makes someone else uplifted, make them feel enlightened, helping them through difficult situations. Um, so that's what I'm hoping they get out of it.
Doing the working on the album, it was also a trip down memory lane. I mean, there's so many segments to this.
Yes.
It's probably a nostalgic trip down memory lane for you as the surviving member of, you know, you're representing your sisters, you're representing the tribute name of the Jones girls. What did that do for me? What were the emotions that went through you, aside from your sister's passing, but in terms of just going back in time to some of those memorable tracks and what it meant to you? How did that feel?
Oh man, the second song on the album is a cover of At Your Mercy,
Mm.
which was one of the songs on that first. In fact, it was a big hit, and it's over there too. It's one of the songs I have to do. So I did a cover of that. The fourth song on the album is a cover of Who Can I Run To, called I Won't Tell.
Yeah, let's do that.
So in listening to those songs from when we did it versus how I was going to do the covers, oh, it just took me back to some of my fondest memories is when it was just me, Brenda, Valorie, and nobody, no husbands, boyfriends. It was just the three of us creating. And that's when we had our most fun, laughing and talking.
So, you
Yeah.
know, the memories and the nostalgia of doing the album, Shirley, because it's not just that your sisters aren't here anymore or that you're paying tribute to them, but it must have been a trip going down memory lane for you. You know, remembering the times when you sang with your sisters and then, you know, working with this gentleman, and then there's so many and thens around this. How did you
Yes.
feel? How did it make you feel?
It made me feel great because it was a purpose. You know, I knew that the purpose was to make sure that every single song would remind people in some kind of way of the Jones girls.
Yes.
And I know the songs that I chose to put on the album, because I did several more, but the reason I chose them is because I know that Brenda and Valorie would have chosen those songs if they were here for us to do as a group.
Mhm. And moving forward, because you're always working on something, which is wonderful. You know, I believe last time you spoke about the influence that your mother had on yourselves and your voices and the harmonies.
Oh yeah.
Can you share a little bit about that? Because then it brings us almost full circle to who
Yeah.
you
Oh
are now
yeah.
and what you're doing.
I give full credit to my mom. She was the lady. She was the one. She knew voices. She was the uh, music director for our church, Russell Street Baptist Church. So she knew voices, the choir director. And once she realized and started hearing that me first, she had me singing Ave Maria in Latin and seventh and in I was 7 years old, so I had to be second grade. And there are people, friends of mine, that were friends since second grade. They tell people that story all the time. They said at 5 years old, or somewhere between 5 and 7, her mother knew not only was she talented, but had her sing Ave Maria in Latin in second grade. And then once she realized that Brenda came along, then it was the three of us, because my mother was a pretty popular gospel singer in that Detroit, Chicago, Ohio region, being the first Black gospel singer that RCA Records signed. So she knew voices, and it would be the three of us. My mom, and then Brenda and I were singing background. And then one day we heard Valorie, because we were just dragging her along because she wasn't singing, to the different churches. And then one day she just joined in harmonizing right away. And my mother's like, oh my God, I got 3 of them. So then she started just rehearsing us. And, a lot of parents would say to their kids, you can stay outside and play, but when the street lights come on, you got to come in the house. Well, my mother, it would be like basically when my godmother got home from work, we had to come in to practice. And so, and sometimes we'd be wanting to go back out there, and she'd be saying, just remember, practice makes perfect, and always strive to be perfect. So that was one of the things that she instilled in us. So consequently, we played piano. We took piano lessons, ballet, tap, jazz, modern jazz. She had us in absolutely everything. We would be the only Black people at a lot of the orchestra performances because she was very much into the arts. Very much so, and had us on our little gloves going to, because she was a nurse, and she had a lot during that time. There, most of the nurses were white, and they were really friends and always giving my mother tickets to take us to the orchestra and things of that nature because they all loved her voice.
Nice.
And her spirit. My mom was one of the, probably everybody says that about their mother, but my mom is true. And there are other people that she made an impact on their lives that would tell you at least 100 of them that I could name. So.
And it seems you've sort of captured that essence as well, and you're rolling that through because you're passionate not just for people, but holding on to that perfection. And I believe that comes from that almost that soul cry that I just want to give, and I want to give up my best, and I want to do my best for others, and gift them my voice and the message. And so this album is really going to, it's really going to touch lives because it's a melting pot of so much.
And it is so amazing because absolutely everyone that I sent it to, people that I know appreciate the beauty of music, and everybody that I sent it to, I said, please give me your feedback. Absolutely every one of them said, this is a masterpiece. This is an excellent, excellent album. And that just makes me feel so good, mainly because I feel.
Okay, so you can continue, Shirley.
Yes, it makes me feel complete. It makes me feel like Brenda and Valorie, but especially Brenda, is transitioned now and smiling and happy. And I feel complete. I mean, once we finished the title track, it was like this big weight
yes,
that I had been wanting to do, that was because I was just so focused on trying to make sure it's the best album possible that I could gift to my sisters, in appreciation of all the beautiful years that we were together. I'm sorry, I tear when I think about that.
But that's really soul felt as well, and there's healing. Music is a healer.
Yes, it is.
Your voice is a healer, Shirley, and just the main premise that you decided to put this together, not just as a tribute, not just as an honoring, but it's released you, it's released Brenda, and it's honored Valorie. So it's done so much, and it's going to do so much more. And because also I feel it's a healing album, it's going to touch lives more than you realize.
I hope so and pray so. And that in itself would be something that I know my sisters, because that's all we ever wanted to do, use our voices to just make people smile and feel good.
Yeah, and you're going to do that. Well, Brenda, I just want to say thank you so much for this interview. And also, are you going to be touring? When are you going to be next in the UK, Brenda?
I'm talking to someone now, actually. So it might be April. I know I'm in Portugal the end of May.
Mm-hmm.
So we're working on, they had called me the other day and and I will definitely let you know, but you'll hear about it too. But right now it looks like it might be April.
Okay, brilliant, brilliant. Because I've never seen you live. I think I missed you the last time you came around. So 2024 is a must. Well,
Oh,
Brenda, I
yes.
just want to say thank you so much for sharing. Thank you so much
Girl,
for
yeah. You said you call me Brenda. That's because yeah. Yeah, that's fine. That's her.
sometimes I do,
Acknowledge.
sometimes I do that because I feel the energy. I remember when I was interviewing Charles Wright from the 103rd Street Rhythm Band last
Mm-hmm.
year. And I know a couple of years ago he had gifted me a book. And on the show, the show was talking about Black men and how they talk about their emotions and vulnerabilities and how they come through. So I said to him, and this was in front of a panel. So I said, Charles, tell them about the time when you were standing in LA, you had no shoes on, and and he goes, darling, you're freaking me out. I'm like, but no, tell them. He goes, no, he goes, that wasn't in the first book. I said, I read it. And he goes, I'm writing that. That's in the second chapter that I'm writing now.
Oh, wow.
And the whole platform went silent. And I had to try to, Charles, just,
Wow.
so that it happens sometimes. And even I remember another time I kept calling the name of this artist. And she goes, you're calling my sister. And I'm like, oh, sorry, but she
Yeah,
is an
but
energy.
that
So
is
sometimes I feel like I just get a sense of, um,
that's Brenda giving you validation of this interview. That to me, that the because you said it several times but at the beginning, yeah, but at the beginning you called me, but I understand because we've been talking quite a bit about Brenda and how she uh transitioned.
but it's interesting, yeah, because she is at peace. She is,
She is now. I feel she is now. I
yeah,
really do.
she's
With the
there.
completion of this album, I believe she is.
Wow,
And that makes me so happy.
wow, what an ending.
Yes.
Wow, wow. Well, thank you so much for your time. I know the album's gonna do well, and looking forward to seeing you. And just keep continuing to gift and bless people with your voice, Shirley.
Thank you so much, Esther.